What's going on YouTube? Florida Man Knives here with a long-term knife review of the Spyderco Meerkat. And this one just so happens to be in the V-Toku 2 steel and Sus 410. But getting into it, you can see right away the coolest thing about this knife is the phantom lock. You can see as it opens up, that scale moves until it locks into position, and it's going to be operating kind of similar to a back lock and how that works as far as the actual lockup. And then to disengage, you see that little spot for your thumb to go. You just grab the scale. You can see you can do it with one hand. You push back right there, and then it folds the knife down, the blade down. So you can do that with one hand opening and closing. But before I get into it, you can see it does come in your standard Spyderco box right there, made in Japan, Meerkat and V-Toku 2. And then it does, of course, have the exclusive Spyderco paperwork. Now this was a sprint run version with this steel. The Meerkat in general is not released very regularly and generally is only done so in a sprint run. So I definitely have always wanted to get my hands on one of these. I really like small knives, especially with four-finger choils. I'm a huge fan of the Dragonfly too. You can see right here though, it is V-Toku 2 flanked by layers of Sus 410, which is more of a true stainless steel. So the V-Toku 2 itself is not stainless and definitely will patina. You can see there's the alloy composition there. And mentioning the patina, you can actually see where the V-Toku starts in that line right there in the knife on both sides. And you can see that patina on the V-Toku 2 steel itself. Now, one thing I do want to mention as well, the Sus 410, while it is stainless, it does kind of, I don't know, it's kind of patinaed a little bit itself. I have not treated this knife at all. I live really close to the beach, definitely super humid environment, and I have used this knife, EDC this all the time. So, I was really curious to see what it would look like, after a few years of use, and this is the result. You can see Seiki City, Japan there. You got your nice Spyderco logo and your Spidey hole there. Nice thumb ramp, four-finger choil. Now, one thing I want to point out, I have extra large hands. I mean, this knife just absolutely is very small, disappears, but ergonomics are fantastic on this knife. I mean, look at that. It's like it was made for a larger hand, I guess. I mean, it's just obviously made for hands in general. That's kind of a stupid thing to say, but some knives just don't feel good in the hand, and it's kind of funny to me. I really like when it's kind of raised up back here for the pinky to rest on. I'm just a huge fan of that, and that kind of leads me to some comparisons. Let me move this so it's not ultra reflective. The first one is going to be the ZT-0460, completely different knife, but the only reason I'm really bringing this out is to highlight the way I prefer the handle to be shaped up right there for my pinky to rest on. But some more applicable comparisons. The first is, of course, going to be the Spyderco Dragonfly 2. This just happens to be the Salt model. But you can see they're very, very similar in size. The Dragonfly does have more cutting edge, and the handle is also going to be just about the same. So maybe that's a complaint. You don't get quite as much cutting edge on this as you would another knife like the Dragonfly. But, I'm okay with it. This to me is more of a special knife because of the phantom lock. That's really what I find to be so cool about it. And the fact that I I can carry this as an EDC. You know, it's got this deep carry wire pocket clip, so it really disappears in the pocket. It also has this nice blue color here, which really matches well with jeans. So this is a really, really good discreet EDC carry. I like carrying this in the office a lot, or, you know, if I'm not confident I'm gonna really be having a need for a knife, but you know, you just wanna have one just in case. This is fantastic to use for that purpose. I'll throw that down there. Another comparison is gonna be the Spyderco Delica 4. And you can see quite a bit larger than the Meerkat. I'll throw back up the Dragonfly 2 as well. And then another good comparison is going to be my Hogue Doug Redder Mini RSK, which is basically the same size as a Benchmade mini grip. And then for those of you who might have something a little bit more traditional, this is going to be a Victorinox Tinker. And I'll definitely be posting a video on this specific one. This is the Trash Panda. But just as another really good comparison, you can see just how small of a knife this really is. And that's something that I really love about it. Now, one complaint, I guess you could say, that I do have about this knife is it's very solid. It has these full steel liners. You can actually take the scales off and the knife would be fully functional. But with that, definitely adds a lot of heft and weight. You can see the weight on this is going to be 2.36, which, you know, in the grand scheme of the knife world is very light, but for a knife this small is pretty heavy. You know, you want to compare that to the Dragonfly 2. Again, no liners, 1.2 ounces versus 2.36, so over a full ounce lighter. You know, wanted to point that out because when you get it in your hand, it does feel pretty heavy because the weight's not, you know, distributed over a longer handle. It's kind of funny, and I did want to point that out. This is, of course, a Sal Glesser design. You can see his trademark there. Don't know if I mentioned this in the video earlier. This Sus 410 does scratch really easily. It's kind of hard to pick up on the camera, but the outer surface just is really, really scratchy, which that doesn't bother me at all. You know, I use this knife, so I'm not going to complain. But this thing is fantastic. Love this Phantom Lock. I actually mentioned this as a knife that you both should and should not give to people to handle. I have a video up on that titled Knives You Shouldn't Hand People. I'll point that or link that up here in the corner. It's just really funny to watch people struggle with it. I love, even knife people that aren't familiar with it, I love handing this over to them. You know, an example of that would be my dad. He carries the Delica every day, actually, has for years. And I was like, just handed it to him in an open position, and I was like, close the knife. And it's just really funny to watch. Anyways, let me know what your thoughts are on the Meerkat. If you have any yourself, you know, there's definitely other colorways. There's a black, a burnt orange version as well. I definitely hope that they release these again soon. It does have this nice leaf-shaped blade. You can see the sandwiched material there. I will say the fit and finish on this is, you know, not perfect, but pretty good. You know, it gets a little bit more separated up here. You know, again, it's a user for me. Not crazy expensive, but a really, really cool sprint run. You know, one of the reasons I absolutely love Spyderco, why they're my favorite knife brand, is that they do just a lot of unique things. You know, a lot of unique knife locks, you know, knife-shaped blades, of course. You know, they're just a really cool company. They're not afraid to do something different. So hopefully they'll release these sometime in the near future, and you'll be able to pick one up. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and thank you for watching.